Hello everyone, hi, it's me again, and I've got an exciting speaker talking to us today. We've got Rebecca Daniels, and I've known Rebecca for a long time, mainly through family connections, and I had no idea really what she was doing or what she's been up to all these years. So I'm excited to find out more about the fascinating enterprise that Rebecca's done, in that she started a nucleus network for women in business. And
Yeah.
for me, sorry, I was just going to say, Dania, Rebecca, that it came out of the blue for me. It was quite a surprise. So I'd love to know more. Can you tell us what the network's about, and who it's aimed at, and how you got there? What made you decide?
So thank you very much for having me on your channel today. Yeah, you're right. We've known each other for, I would probably say I've known your daughter for about 10 years. So we've seen you, within that time. Nucleus Networking, it's a reasonably new venture for me. We started in, I'll say June 2018. So not long ago. And it is a community hub online on Facebook for women who are in business or women who are interested in business. And predominantly, I would say also for mums as well. And the reason why that started was because I was a new mum. So hello. I had my daughter in April 2017. And I decided on possibly having a career change. And I didn't really know where to go to for support for that. I didn't really know who to speak to. I didn't really know where to start. I couldn't attend the networking events that were local to me just because I was a mum and had no childcare. Solution to me was, if there is a problem, solve it. And that's where Nucleus came from.
Yeah, so you filled your own space, really, the gap in your way forward. You found your own solution.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think I'm an educator by profession, so I always say that if you haven't got something that's that's a gap, there's a niche, then that means that there's a wide range of people out there that are also in the same position as you. So why not plug that gap?
That's it. Yeah, and that's so true, isn't it? There are a lot of people, a lot of women, especially with families out there, who actually don't know where to start. So tell me a little bit more about your previous business then, or are you running them alongside each other? So as an educator, what's your background?
So before becoming a teacher, I have a degree and a background in journalism, print and TV broadcasts. And from there, I realised the struggles and difficulties that people had with literacy. Secret to say that a lot of journalists can't really write. We say that out loud and be offended, but a lot of people do have literacy issues, and they mask it for obviously the world of technology that we have today. You've got Siri that can dictate, you've got the Microsoft Word, and you've got other programs that can assist people. So I thought, from there, let me go back to the root, let me find out where the problems occurred. And so I trained in secondary education as an English literacy and media studies teacher. I found my passion there. Over the 10 years of working in education, I then realised that literacy actually isn't really taught after primary school. And those people that struggle with literacy are often, and I know it's stereotypical to say, but often from disadvantaged backgrounds, so single parent households, low income families, English as additional language. There's so many different key groups of kids out there. And then that just stems into adulthood, because they leave secondary education with low literacy. They're entering adulthood and adult world, again with the same problem, and it just opens up so many other cans of worms, like homelessness and gang and youth crime and mental health. So my aim with my company, which is Jigsaw Education, is to plug that gap and provide not only the disadvantaged community, but that's my key cause, with literacy skills that can help them professionally or personally.
That's interesting as well, because coming back to the Nucleus network, I am a literacy specialist as well. That's where I started my team.
Ah, didn't know that.
And I worked with adults who had been designated as stupid and incompetent when they were very young, who then never overcame that through secondary school or college, never went to college, and could not even complete a form to
Yeah,
employment.
that's what I found.
So when it comes to business and the nucleus network in particular, my experience of networking is that there are very often women who are illiterate or have poor literacy skills and also numeracy skills, and they're starting a business based on their love of something. And it holds a lot of women back. So that's very key, I think, to you working with women in business, is the fact that you have this understanding, because we're told all the time it's got to be good copy, it's got to be good, you've got to blog, you've got to write articles, you need a book, you need to speak in public, and there is a percentage of women in networks who have the ability to run great businesses who lack confidence and need support in those early days. Have you, I'm not suggesting that you name and identify anybody, but have you noticed anything like this already in your new enterprise with the Nucleus Network?
100%. So now I am more involved in the business world and out of the school environment. I'd probably say about 60% of businesses I am spotting technical accuracy issues. I'm spotting people that are not necessarily confident with their oracy, their presentation, didn't know it existed, because I've been trapped in the school world for so long. I just assumed that everyone was confident, everyone was literate to some degree. And I do find that some women are very hesitant to, as you say, post on social media because they know that their spelling and their grammar is inaccurate. And then that also links to like their self-esteem, and it just links to so many different issues that they find. So that's why I'm here.
Well, I think that's another issue. That's a very important issue that you've raised there, is the confidence and the lack of courage. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about the need for all male networks, same as there are female networks. Right. We had a broader discussion, and one of the things that we discussed was the fact that women in particular have the need for their own groups because of bravado, whereas men will often display bravado and force courage and get themselves out there even if they're very nervous. Women don't. And women have a whole different mindset about themselves, which doesn't exclude men from having those feelings, but the majority of women need and feel comfortable to grow, and they can compete with men and go into a lot of the forums. So I'm not, obviously not all women, it's a generalisation, but there is a large number, and that's often why the female-only business networks are needed and so popular. What do you think? Do you think that's your experience as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think, as again, we're not going to stereotype, but we can, right? The male persona is that they don't necessarily want to show those emotions, whether they are struggling or whether they need help and ask for help. It's a pride thing, it's an ego thing. Whereas women, we are very much, and this is why I call Nucleus a community hub, like just a central zone, and that's why Nucleus is Nucleus, because we are the epitome of everything, we're the start of everything. And I think that as women we are very much more confident and open and able to ask for support, but also able to give it. And a lot of women that do come to the networking, they like the fact that they're just going to be women there because of that reason, exactly what you've just said. There are not men there bragging about how much they've made this year and this month, and how many clients they've got. And we, as a tribe of women, we're just so supportive. And we're allowing children. You might get a man, attending our event thinking, why are there kids here? Be quiet. And whereas women kind of understand that's just part of life. That's just part of what we go through. And so, you'll find women in my group that run around giving kids pencils, even if they're not their children, just to keep them occupied so that mum can actually make a living and make something for herself. So, yeah, you're right. There is a massive market for women networking groups.
I think the other thing is that... Sorry.
Well, that isn't to say that I don't allow men. So we've got a charity event coming up soon. I think that charity is for everyone to get involved in. So I will invite the men to that event if they want to come. So, yeah, we do sneak in the men now and again. Yeah, not all the time.
That also depends if the men want to sneak in. I mean, there are some that can harmonise very clearly. and be the only person and the only man in the room.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more along the lines that women come from, we're very community orientated, and yet we can be quite isolated and have mental health problems when we're running a business of low self-esteem, motivation, actually applauding our own success, seeing our own achievements. And that's why some people find it so much a necessity to actually get out and meet with other women and talk about women's issues and childhood rearing, etc. It's that loneliness and the ability to leave the city or leave your company or start alone and then not actually feel very comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
So is that one of your experiences? I mean, you don't have to tell us everything because obviously you've got family. But
no, I'm really open
to run your own business. How did that feel?
So I, as I said, as a new mum, I realised that my passion was in education, but I also realised that I could give more. And I started to look into ways that I could do that made me happy, but also that allowed me to have that work-life balance, because mental health, as you said, is important, and we all suffer from it. And I started feeling, I don't know, slightly anxious, because as a teacher, and as you know, I would have to come home, mark books, mark assessments, plan, and I was becoming so tired. No energy for myself, my family, for my daughter. And I find that in business, that still does happen. I just feel that people need to be aware that they have control over that because it belongs to you. You are your own employer. And so I like the fact that, like last week, I'll tell a little secret, but last week I didn't do any business work for about a few days, just to allow me to process and get my head straight and allow my thoughts to kind of just manifest and figure out where I'm going. Whereas in my job, you can't really do that. You don't really have time to do that because, you know, you need to be there every day, you need to show up for your children or your students, and you need to make sure that you're the best that you can be at all times, because, and that's how I see it, because I'm passionate about my job. So yeah, no, I have. And I do feel self-conscious sometimes as well at the moment now. And I do feel slightly insecure, just because, I'll tell you everyone a secret here, I've handed in my notice, Victoria.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, like a couple of days ago. And my friends don't know about it yet. And so I know that this will go out after that, so they'll know. But that makes me feel really, really nervous and insecure. And yeah, I do feel that as my mental health there is suffering, but actually no, because I've taken a risk. So I feel elated and I feel excited for the future. But at the other side, I'm like, I've got a house and a baby and bills and no job. So mental health, I think, is something that we constantly are always battling. And no one can ever say that they've never experienced anything like that, because I don't believe that at all. So yeah, just it's really important, I think, again, as women, we can support each other.
It's a very scary time. I know, even though I was coming to the end of my career, it was a case of, should I hang on for another few years and follow the norm? But inside me, I knew that I was going to have poorer health. My mental well-being would have drained. I was getting, not depressed, but I was very low, you know, I was very demotivated. And then as soon as I started planning my future and actually seeing a way forward, and I didn't do quite the same as you, but I did spend a year planning and setting up my website and different things before I made the transition and handed my notice in, and I dropped my hours. So I made a slower transition to start with. But there comes that time when you have to hand your notice in and you have to bite the bullet. And it's a very exciting adventure, but the realistic side of it is that you do have to make some adjustments. And it's not going to be plain sailing. And I think that's where the networking and upholding your weakness in your skills, if you have, you know, writing issues, reading issues, numeracy issues, then you need that support and you need to get it early. And you know, starting yourself is going to be like riding down a river. You know, you might hit the rapids, but you'll also have the calm. and
Yeah.
adventure. So I personally, I hope you do too, but I personally feel I've got a much better lifestyle. I'm much happier and forward thinking.
Yeah, I haven't finished my job yet, but you're right. I do feel, I don't know, I feel different. As soon as I did it, and in my notice, I came home and I said to my partner, I don't feel sad. Like I felt like a weight, because I was, as I said, working in education. I was running nucleus, running jigsaw, mummy, partner, sister, daughter, like everything just became so much. I was like, something has to give. What am I passionate about? What do I want? And if I don't do it now, I probably would never do it. So it's about biting the bullet, as you said, and cutting the strings.
It's a bit like going through your wardrobe. If you take out all the clothes you don't wear, don't want, don't fit into, and actually discard them and be ruthless, then you've got room to get more. You know, whether you see something in a sale or you actually purposefully go and buy a new suit. You know, it's emptying so that it can be refilled. And I have seen women struggle, and I think that's why network is so important. And finding time for yourself and actually giving yourself permission to stop. I went to a retreat for a week. I spent 7 or 10 days in a retreat at one time, just to make sure I knew my business was heading in the right way, and that I had made the decisions I needed to make, and that I needed to carry on.
Nice.
It's having that clarity and not getting bogged down with all the minutiae of everything and other people's pull on you. You know, as a woman, when you start something new, people are often waiting for it to catch you. They want to catch you when you fall. And they may love you, but they have that expectation sometimes that you're just not going to do it, and it's going to be too hard, and you've never done it before. And mixing
my close ones around me, they said to me, have you really thought about this? Said yes and no. And they're like, well, that's not really the answer we're looking for. And I was like, well, I have thought about it, because I wouldn't be doing it. But no, I don't know how it will go. So I haven't thought about it in terms of that sense. Just live the moment and go for it. And that's not me at all. If you spoke to anyone that knew me, they would know Rebecca plans everything down to the T. She doesn't go off course like that in terms of life. But in terms of education, I'm like wacky and all over the place. So, yeah. This is a different route for me, but I'm excited.
Well, that's so exciting too, because I love that word excitement, because excitement and adventure, because you just think about yourself you didn't know, and you overcome things, and you discover perhaps other ways that you want to develop, and it is a development. I think the one thing about the job is that quite often you reach the ceiling and you can't move any further, or the advancement avenues are pretty linear or challenging. Whereas when you're running a business, you can actually, you know, it's your life, it's your oyster, and you can make it what you want. So I'm hoping that will be your case as you see your children grow, and be a role model for them, be a role model for other women, and a role model for your own children.
And that was really important for me when I had Sophia, because so I never really wanted children, actually. Well, actually, no, not to a lie. I did want children, but I don't know, not now. I was happy to be an older parent, and then when she came along, something just switched, and it was like, okay, so now what am I going to do for her? And not in terms of clothe her, feed her, love her, but what am I going to do for her in terms of what can she see from me? And I think I have a lot of children that I come across in my job that don't have those positive role models. And I think that stems from everything, in terms of like, it leads them into so many different paths. Some kids could take that and not do so well, and some kids could take that and do extraordinarily well. And I just wanted Sophia to see that when she saw me growing up. So what does your mummy do? And you know what I do, and be proud of that, and know that, you know, I worked and I looked after her, and I built something, and also something she could be part of as well.
I was just laughing because my grandson flitted into my mind. He thinks I'm famous. He's on YouTube. He's seen pictures of me, because when he knew I was a teacher, but he never saw me standing up in in universities talking to groups of students in lecture theatres. So he's seen photographs of me at expos and the forums.
That's so lovely.
Images, you know, and so in his mind he thinks I'm a celebrity.
But he also sees that you're doing something as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't know if you're grandma or nanny, but he also sees that, you know, you're there and you're doing something, and that's a really lovely thing.
I think one of the things with him is that I embrace technology, and I'm brave, and that is one of the things that I wanted to be a role model for my children, and my own children and my grandchildren, is that yes, a lot of technology is beyond me, but you can get someone to do it. But I have learned so much,
and you can learn.
Yes, and because I don't want that gap to be there. But if women are afraid of learning new technology and can't see how they can afford to pay someone to do things for them, it holds them back. And I think being in a group and being around other young business women is a way of asking the question: what do I do? Where do I go? How much is this going to cost? Who have you used? You know, those sort of questions is where a network group can actually really help you secure your business and your self-esteem.
And see, I learned from you today because you're showing me how to use Zoom. And, no, but it's true. It doesn't matter about age, does it? At all. And this is one of the reasons why I think Nucleus is so important to me as well, is because the group is so informal. And so if someone, like you just said, has a small question about like how to change my thumbnail on a YouTube channel or on Facebook, or how to resize my cover photo, they go to the group as a first point of call, and somebody, we're at almost 400 members now, which is fab, but somebody there must know the answer to that, and the person doesn't have to pay someone to do it for them. They could save themselves money, they could also learn a new skill, but also it might give somebody else a sense of satisfaction that they've helped somebody else in their business as well.
And you never know what surprises you get in life. You know, it was only a few weeks ago that we arranged to have this chat and interview and talk about this subject. These are things that wouldn't happen if you're sitting at home working on your jewellery in your own office and making your own calls to make your sales. You know, there's expansion that comes from mixing with expanding people and women. And that's what's exciting. So I look forward to your expansion then, and to see what's happening.
My expansion. I'm really, really trying. I'm trying to see how we can. I need to go down the registration route actually and figure out what like legal entity is the best one for us. But I think as a community interest company, I think that's what we are 100% are. Expansion in terms of so seeing how we can continue to boost the group, how we continue to develop literacy, and then the next stage is for me to apply for funding, to see how we can, you know, get other local governments and local funding agencies to back and support the work that we do. So that's my mission.
And of course, what's happening immediately that you mentioning something you're looking for, I go into mode of who do I know?
Yes.
Achieve this. Who I met in the past, and so basically that's one of the benefits of working together, is that people jump, because most women want to help and support. That's part of our nature. We're not that competitive. We don't think, well, I don't want you to do well, because I run my own, I host my own network. I don't think, I don't want Rebecca to do very well because she'll take my people. I send my people to you.
Yeah, you did. You actually did. Like the first 100 people that came to my group, and I was like invited by, and I saw Victoria, and I was like, but there are a small proportion of people out there that don't have the same mindset as us, Victoria. It's sad to say there are, but the majority of women do have that same mindset. And I always tell the women on my group, go to other events. I do. So why can't you? Just because, you know, we host these events doesn't mean that we are limited to our own. You know, I'm attending one on Wednesday that's not mine, but I'm really excited to go and meet new people and meet new women and see, again, how it can help me boost my business or how I can help somebody else.
And the key to that is that the whole idea of the global woman is that women in lots of different countries stand up but are recognised by each other. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at all these different organisations, and you'll see my posts go up about women that have succeeded in Africa or India, or
Right, okay.
they're in different countries, they're in all around the world, because as they stand up, we stand up, and we feel, I mean, it's beyond just our own businesses. It's how we are role models for our children, etc. But it's also how we actually overcome these problems about feeling inadequate and treading into a new world. So I think when you go out from your own nucleus and you express an interest elsewhere, then other adventures come up. And then as women rise around you, the competition doesn't really come into it, because as they rise, so can you.
So can you, yeah.
If someone's business is doing really well and they're on the media, and then you can do it.
Yeah, no, it's true. It really is true. And I always say, my dad always used to tell me to surround yourself with like-minded people. This is when I was younger. At that age, I never really got what he meant at 14, 15, 16. Surround yourself with like-minded people. And from there, if you watch their success, then you can also share their success and have your own success. Never ever knew what that meant. Never ever. Until now. And it's true, like surrounding myself with like-minded women. Granted, there are quite a few of you on the group, but it's nice to see how you got there, see what efforts you're putting into your business, see who's there to support you, see how I can support you, how you can support me. And as you say, climb together. We're amazing, Victoria. Like, women are amazing. We're so
we know that, but we just don't believe it.
We know that, but we will literally like dominate everywhere. And I think that we are doing that. We are actually doing that, and actually it's filtering down into the younger generations as well. I'm seeing a lot of teenage girls. What do you want to be when you grow up? When I ask them, oh, I want to, be my own. I want to be a beautician, and I want to own my own salon, or I want to. There's a lot of female engineers out there as well that are lurking in the shadows. And I think a lot of them now are seeing women like you and me and other famous, entrepreneurs out there, and they're thinking, yeah, it's possible. I can do this.
I think also that there's a big movement to bring men on board who are heart and totally supporting women's growth and development, because they can see that women contribute so much, and yet the world has not really tapped into or used the immense capacity that women have to improve things and to grow and nurture things. And I think as that changes, the action should be that we are in harmony with each other. And what I find interesting is that I think we were talking before we started about young girls, the single mothers of the Thatcher era, who were ostracised and degraded for being a drain on society, have actually produced children, offspring now, who are millennials, who are active in society, who are far more heart-centred and stronger for being raised in those conditions. And it's nice to see young men coming through with a much stronger understanding of women's need to stand up and grow and to be part of society and our economy.
Yeah. No, you're so right. And I think, as you say, a lot of women have been judged for being single parents, or have not been supported as much as I think they should have or could have been. But yeah, you're right, because the boys from those households are looking at these role models, these female role models who have struggled or worked really, really hard to nurture and love and motivate. And I think these boys or men, wherever they are, I definitely think they should get in contact with you, because it'll be really, really nice for them to stand up and speak out about, how we can support women and how women can support men, because that's something that we should be doing together as a joint venture, and not going head to head with each other and thinking there's a massive, competition and men are from Mars, women are from Venus, that, we're all from the same planet. Even if we think differently, we do, let's not get that wrong, we do think differently, but actually what a male can think and what a woman can think could actually build some amazing businesses and amazing products together. So
Brilliant. That's lovely. Well, that's a great idea to end our little chat
Definitely.
with. We've talked for a long time, but
Yeah.
a lot of important issues and hopefully motivate a lot of people. So can I just ask you then, those that are watching now would like to get in touch with you, Rebecca. So can you tell me, so it's Rebecca Daniel and Daniel or Danielle's? Daniel?
No S. So Daniel. Yeah, just Daniel.
Okay. So could you give us some information then? How can people contact you today if they want to talk to you?
So our nucleus networking for women is predominantly on Facebook at the moment, and we are at facebook.com/groups/nucleus networking. You can join our group, which is a closed group, or you can like our page, and feel free to message me on that. And for Jigsaw Education, which is our literacy enterprise, you can again find us at facebook.com/Jigsaw edu or www.jigsaw-education.com. If you need any literacy development, contact us.
Excellent. I will obviously put that in the description. So it's Jigsaw edu and Nucleus Network. So wonderful.
Yes.
So
yeah, I'll thank you then.
I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I really appreciate it.
We haven't actually spoken to each other very much over the last 10 years, so it's fascinating for me to find out about you. Right. Well,
definitely, and hopefully we'll continue to network again in the future.
Oh yes. Okay.
All right. Bye, you're going to have to log off this because I don't know how to cancel it. You're going to have to teach me now again.
I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, and then I'm going to turn off the recording, and then I'll talk to you more, which is how we learn. Okay, speak to you again. Bye.
All right then. Bye.
Okay, that's off.
Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
It says recording on.